So when I was around 7 or 8, I wrote on a Microsoft Word document a story called The Kingdom. It had no semblance of a plot, the characterization was non-existent, and it was just all over the place. But I was 7, and now my cat's here. Say hi, Harper. I like to think that 10 years later now, I'm a bit better of a storyteller. So today I'm going to share with you a story that I've been working on since freshman year. Hi, Harper. And it's called Thrilling Worm Adventure. And buckle in, cause it's something. As you probably gathered from the title, Thrilling Worm Adventure is a story about worms. The main character is a worm named Thicky. Thicky is a worm who has nearly his entire colony destroyed by construction workers excavating to build a building. And I just realized I should probably explain why I named him Thicky. He's he's a big boy. He's a pretty sizable worm. That's actually part of the reason he survives while most of his colony dies off. He's got some blubber. He's got some food reserves, if you know what I mean. You know that one clip of Patrick saying, "You took away all my food. Now I'm gonna starve." Yeah, that's Thicky. Sorry for all the cuts in my videos, by the way. I cannot, for the life of me, keep a single train of thought going. So I have to keep pausing and just gather my thoughts. And then there's the cat. So anyway, after Thicky escapes the colony, he decides to go to find help. Let me pull up my worm notes here. So the first other animal that he encounters is named the Slick One, and he's so cool he wears sunglasses even when he's underground. After Thicky asks him for help, he turns him down, saying, "Oh man, I wouldn't know how to help. You see, I'm a solitary worm. I don't really feel the need to surround myself with other worms. Just feels suffocating, you know? You know." Oh, also, Thicky's colony's name is Schmutzville. After this, he goes up to the surface and finds a gummy worm laying on the sidewalk, which he thinks is the corpse of an actual worm. You know how I said Thicky's got some fat reserves? Well, it's been so long that even he's running on empty, so he decides to commit what he thinks is cannibalism. It's not, but he doesn't know that. For all he knows, he's a cannibal now. So this whole situation with Schmutzville and the gummy worm thing, this puts him in a pretty vulnerable state of mind. It's then he encounters Jaworma's witnesses. They're in the process of trying to convert a beetle, but when the beetle gets pissed off, rightfully so, and scuttles away, Thicky comes over and says, "Oh, what's wrong?" The Jaworma's witnesses realize instantly that Thicky will be an easy target for them to indoctrinate, so they try. But then, along comes a worm blowing into a party favor, scaring the Jaworma's witnesses off, because they can't celebrate birthdays and they're terrified they might accidentally celebrate with him. So Thicky's mad at this new worm, but he explains that the Jaworma's witnesses, they're bad news. They're almost as bad as Mormons. And my cat's leaving now. After he explains this to Thicky, they properly introduce themselves. The new worm's name is Biddy, and he explains his little backstory to Thicky. So it turns out that Biddy used to have a brother named Itty. So one day, Itty squirms into an apple, hoping to find some sustenance. But a human also was hoping for some sustenance, so they take a bite out of it. Itty dies. So now Itty's dead, leaving Biddy on his own, feeling stupid about his name. So after they introduce themselves to each other, Thicky explains his story, like why he's on his own, to Biddy, and Biddy agrees to join his party. So they continue on, and eventually they find another worm. She's a giant earthworm, and her name is Estelle, and she has fisherman trauma. You see, a fisherman tried to use her as bait to catch fish, but she ended up escaping. So as a coping mechanism, Estelle builds up this wall to protect herself from being taken advantage of again. So she's super mean to Biddy and Thicky, and she at first flat out refuses to join their party. She doesn't want to get hurt again, but eventually she comes around. I haven't decided why yet. I'm sure I'll add something funny in there. So after this, they squirm on, and then they discover something about tapeworms. So you know how tapeworms are parasites? Well, some of them have chosen humans as their hosts, and the leader of the tapeworms' name is Mr. Tape, and he is controlling the head construction worker. So it turns out that the construction workers are being controlled by the tapeworms, and the tapeworms hate the earthworms because they view them as less powerful versions of them because they can't control their hosts. They just eat leaves and dirt shit. So the tapeworms are trying to wipe out the earthworms. Now, I'm not going to spoil the ending because I'm sure you all are just so riveted that you don't want it ruined for you. You have to read this once it gets published, which there's a very high chance that it never even will get published because who the hell would want to publish this? And now I'm going to read to you my list of things worms say. That's slime-tastic. I'm gonna go for a squirm. The early bird commits murder in the first degree. Don't wormy about it. I can dig it. Would you still love me if I was a human? Why, Wad? Why? Wad is worm god. See you later, excavator. You're just digging yourself a deeper hole. What in earth? Absolutely. Oh, before I wrap this up, Mr. Tape, the evil leader of the tapeworms, has a monocle, a top hat, and a mustache, like an evil handlebar mustache, but he can't twist it because he has no fingers. Alright, I think you've been subjected to enough of this. I'm done rambling about my stupid little worm story for now. No, but seriously, I probably will talk about it a lot in the future. When I get excited about something, I get really, really excited about it for about a week, and then I move on to something else. So don't worry, after this week is over, you'll probably never hear about Thrilling Worm Adventure again. But yeah, my recording time is 25 minutes right now, so I really need to trim this up. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this all the way to the end. I'll post again real soon because the algorithm likes it when new YouTubers do that. And yeah, this has been Case in Point.